On the one hand, a precarious situation in Greece is getting worse, and the probability of an accident in which governments, both in Greece and the rest of Europe, lose control is high. On the other hand, the markets are rightly and understandably focused on the amount of cash coming in. Josh tweeted earlier today that the authorized buybacks in April at 141 billion were the highest ever. Dividends are going up. We're seeing central banks, China, ECB, they're going to become even more dovish, and M&A activity is picking up. So I think the markets are focused on the amount of cash coming in, and they believe that Greece is going to be contained and isolated.
I guess the question, though, Mohammed, in your opinion, do you think that the cash coming into the markets, providing some sort of a floor, should outweigh any potential accident that could be out there for the markets?
So it depends which markets you look at. On the U.S. equity market, yes. European equity markets, a little bit more vulnerable. European FX, the euro, more vulnerable. So it really depends which markets you look at. I think the cash is impacting mainly the U.S. market right now.
Hey, Mohammed, it's Josh. So I want to follow up on this idea where a lot of people who were bearish on the global macro situation for years, they use this term kick the can in a very pejorative way. The idea being that if we don't deal with our problems now, they'll only get worse. Doesn't Greece now look like it proves just the opposite, where if we kick the can long enough, everyone gets used to the fact that there's going to be this thing that happens eventually, and they take that time to bolster their balance sheets, reduce exposure, et cetera. And so maybe if Greece wraps itself up, there's a little bit of damage compared to what there would have been in 2010 or 2011, and we all learn the lesson that sometimes kicking the can works when you have these terrible economic situations.
So you're right that for a small country, you can kick the can. So while Greece was kicking the can, Europe was taking steps to strengthen its institutions and its instruments to deal with adverse contagion. So compared to 2010, compared to 2012, Greece is much less of a systemic risk. So I agree with you on that, Josh. But you can't kick the can for the global economy as a whole. And that's the problem, which is that the longer we are in this new normal of low growth, the longer that the equity market is driven by cash as opposed to fundamentals, the higher the risk of financial instability down the road.